Hello everyone and welcome back to Tank Wars 2 Electric Boogaloo. I am your host Chromoid, and today we're going to be watching yet another one of the losers brackets tournaments or tournament fights. This time this is between Char-Charodon and Team Not Nice and Leok, also known as Everyone on Discord, and his team, the Reconnaissance Battalion. It has a much longer French name, but I'm American. I can't speak French, and I'm not going to disgrace it by trying. So let's get into it. Three, two, one, here we go. Now, there was a bit of a problem with the way this entry, the Reconnaissance Battalion, spawns, and it's not really Layok's fault. It's just the fact that well, the spawn stick is so incredibly wide that it contacts the terrain over here, and then just kind of leaves everyone else hovering off the ground over here. I'm not sure why. Well, I know why. I should have supplied the map for people to look at so they would know roughly how they're spawning. It's just the way the terrain works, and it caused a bit of problems. But thankfully, everyone got onto the ground and didn't flip over, which is excellent. The lines have clashed. The rude dudes are going to do the thing where they just pile through the enemy lines, I think, firing cram shots. One unit is already down to 84%. I'm thinking it's this one that's had most of its front sheared off, presumably by a massive barrage of cram shells. I am not sure that their Reconnaissance Battalion wants to be at knife fight range with Char-Charodon. Oh no! Oh no! That's a lot of cram shells, buddy. What happened to the front of your hull? Well, it seems to work just fine, even though it's been the aesthetic front has been demolished. It seems to absorb the shells very well. And oh no, that's a cram shot to the bottom, lifting it off the ground. Just cram shells everywhere. This is a big problem. Reconnaissance Battalion doing what other entries sometimes fail to do and charging up over the hills, keeping in contact with their targets, trying not letting the terrain get in the way. Oh no, collision. Get moving, little one. Run. Get down, Mr. President. Pushes that APC out of the way and takes a whole flock of massive cram shells straight to the front. But it looks like the tanks are actually handling this damage pretty well for Reconnaissance Battalion. They're taking that damage. They're able to move around, keep their the front of the hull facing the enemies, and except for places like this where you've got one APC trying to square off with one rude dude, which I don't think is going to turn out well for the APC, it looks like Reconnaissance Battalion is handling this fight fairly well. And then I look at the scores and I realize, oh no, they're not. Oh man, the center has become an absolute graveyard. Oh no, they've despawned so many already. Somehow I missed it. Must not have been paying close attention. It looks like the Rooter dudes have just... Oh man, there's that quad cram volley from the one of the Rooter dudes. If one of those lands, you're going to be in big trouble. The tanks have handled the damage better than the APCs, but it looks like the APCs have already been demolished since the Rude dudes couldn't kill the tanks. They just killed the lighter vehicles first, which is equally viable because that's all hit points. And another vehicle despawns. That was a tank that time. Okay, so maybe it is the tanks that are getting killed first, not the APCs. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. They were killing the tanks first, and I just wasn't paying close enough attention. These high explosive cram shells out of Char-Charodon's entry are truly horrifying. At first, it looked like the Reconnaissance Battalion was doing okay against them. It looked like they were holding their own, but that damage added up very quickly, and all these missiles and the small gauge, fast-firing APS shells just could not punch through the bulk of, of the Rude dudes, and definitely not the bulk of the Rooter dudes. You see, they've already taken some decent shots to the front, but it's not oh man. It's nothing compared to what's happening to these poor APCs. Engines being blown out of them, cores being detonated, turrets being taken off. It's just a mess. Here comes another cram shell. One, two, ooh. From both sides. Didn't lose a whole lot of blocks, though. It seems to be the... Ooh. Oh, one of the... I'm pretty sure... Oh, no, that was the APC that got deleted. I thought it was the turret off of a Rude dude, but no. It was just another APC losing its turret. That's gonna hurt. Everyone's down to 66 or so there's 176% APC, but Reconnaissance Battalion has been in short order dismantled by Char-Charodon's flock of crams. Oh no, no! Oh, That's sad, but so satisfying. Just a whole volley of crams hitting it. You see these double and quad cram shots coming out of the Rooter dudes, and they have this long arching projectile that comes from a very high platform, and it covers so much terrain so nicely. And thanks to those large wheels, they don't have an issue traveling over said terrain. They don't get stuck unless they get flipped over, and they just sit here and do this. They lob shells right over the hill. A couple will hit the hill, and several others won't. But it doesn't matter. I mean, this Rooter dude over here is going to volley this tank to death. This APC is disabled. This APC has no turret. Oh man, another APC goes up in a puff of blocks. All the Rooter dudes swarmed over here to handle it, and we're just going to watch these last three get torn apart. The Rude Dudes and Team Not Nice in general has really nice mobility. They do not sit still. At first, it can look a little suicidal, especially when they clump up and shoot each other in the back. But these are all very, very durable little vehicles. They have a wallop of a punch when they hit with those crams. As you see, you have like 4 or 5 miss, but when 1 or 2 hit, it really, really hurts. And yeah, they may hit terrain a lot, but they reposition all the time. So you really can't hide from them for too long. You can't disable them very easily from what I've seen. There's not been a single entry that the Rude Dudes have met that caused them to be mass disabled. They just are they're constantly moving, they're constantly repositioning, and they're very, very tough. And so it makes them a formidable opponent. Not the prettiest tanks to look at, and they're just kind of more like heavy APCs. They do not have tracks even. They're just massive wheels. But it doesn't matter. I mean, looks. Why do you need looks when you can do this? We're just under 5 minutes, and they're already finishing off the last 2 vehicles of the battalion. No, the last vehicle. Oh no. And not a single disqualification for Char-Charodon as he handily takes his next loser's bracket win, moving up through the brackets very quickly. And Reconnaissance Battalion, I'm afraid, will be eliminated from this tournament once and for all. Thank you both for participating. I've been Chromoid, and I'll see you guys in the next match.